There's a difference between someone who just shares the gospel and someone who's a godly man. I can explain the difference to you right now.
Okay, tell the world why I am not a godly man.
Because you only stand for people who are white,
Use
Christian,
evidence.
and male. You've got...
Where's my brother up here? Where's
got-
my man? Look at him. You gotta come up here. Come up here. Right up to the mic.
You stand for me, we good.
Wait, I only stand up for white. What, is that a white man? Can you look at him, please? Look at him.
I already...
Is that a white
gave him
man?
a fist bump.
Is that a white man? You said I only stand up for white men. He's got dreads.
Are you... They look nice, too. They do look nice.
But you
Okay.
just libeled me in front of 2,000 people saying I only stand up for white men, and I got a brother in Christ right here. How dare you say something like that?
If you quit messing around, I'll prove it to you right now.
Messing around, bringing up a person of color's messing around. Isn't that your
that
whole
is.
shtick?
The Holy Spirit brought me here to challenge you to a gentleman's fist fight right here in front of this whole crowd. Now look, listen.
No.
Wait.
I would hate to hospitalize you in front of 2,000 people. First of all, it says very clearly in the Bible that we shouldn't harm those that are worthy of protection. The only thing that is preventing us from this country from going to civil war is debate and dialogue, and you don't even want to have debate. You want to go and you want to wrestle like a 7-year-old. Who here is actually dividing the country? Do you think people should be hired based on their race or their competency?
I don't think that. I think they should be race.
Which one?
My fault. I'm sorry. My fault. I think that they should be hired based on their competency, not their race.
We totally agree, right?
Okay.
So what DEI does in practice, not in theory, is it focuses on race more than competency. And
Okay.
that is our concern.
Okay.
And so what I want, and you seem, very passionate about a lot of things, and you obviously have skills. For your life, I want you always to be judged on the content of your character, not the color of your skin. Where DEI says, no, we're actually going to care more about skin color than competency. And so what we want is an America based on merit, America based on how hard you work, an America based on what you bring to the table, not just what you look like. And so a couple things. First of all, anyone want to guess what the richest subracial group in America is right now? It's not white people, it's Asian Americans. And that actually goes back to why the Constitution is the greatest political document ever written by man. The Constitution was not written in Korean, okay? It was written in English. It essentially means that anyone can succeed in this country. Asian Americans came here mostly fleeing communism and socialism in the late 1930s, early 1940s. We did not treat Asian Americans very well. In fact, we should be ashamed of our history, of our treatment of Asian Americans in the 1940s. We built internment camps. We violated their constitutional rights. Despite all that, they rose past horrible oppression, graduated high school in record rates, built businesses all throughout the West Coast, grew and grew and grew. They are now the richest per capita racial group in the country. I have no problem with that at all. I think that's actually a great thing. I think it embodies meritocracy, what makes this country so unique and so great.
What would you say to a room full of black people about critical
You know what I would
race
say?
theory?
I'd say your skin color means nothing. I believe more than anything else, we should care about character, not skin color. We're creating a movement to say we never want to go back to the segregation that once existed in this country that is now being pushed by people in corporate America, in academia, and other places. We want to strive for a country that cares about character and the soul and the spirit of the individual, not on tribes, not on the melanin content in people's skin. And I will say this as compassionately as I can, is that you are not being hunted as a black person in America. There's not a single statistic that affirms that. There's not a single data point. Instead, the opposite is true. We are the least racist, most accepting, multiracial country in the history of the planet, and I pray one day you'll be thankful to live in that country. If you go into a surgery, and all of a sudden your doctor comes and he says, hey, I was hired because of DEI. I really don't know what I'm doing. You're about to go under. We're about to operate on your kidney. It's like, whoa. You're not going to say diversity is our strength. You want the best surgeon. Now, a more important question to ask me is, Charlie, do you believe that black pilots can be qualified? Of course, any individual can be qualified. I want a hiring quota and program that only cares about qualification, not skin color. And thirdly, I would say, why does United Airlines care so much about the color of the pilots that are flying them? Shouldn't they just want the best pilots? When you guys are flying from Vegas to Dallas or Vegas to Chicago, are you going to feel safer or more comfortable when you hit turbulence if you have a diverse pilot or if you have a cockpit of the most qualified people that are there that have proven that they know how to land and fly planes. Malcolm X railed against white liberals that were trying to use the black population for their own personal gain. And boy, was he right. And so you kind of look at, I mean, just look at one public polling poll, right? Where the question is, do you support defunding the police? Most black communities don't support defunding the police. Who supports defunding the police are like upper white liberals on the northeast side of New York. It's like there's this huge disconnect. And so, look, but if you look at an even more fundamental, deeper level of this, I think what is most interesting and most important is that, like, black culture in America is completely disconnected from white liberal metropolitan culture. And they're actually at the exact opposite. I mean, you could speak, and you might disagree, but at least my experience and the black conservatives I spend time with is that this, like, trans issue is the least popular in the black community of all the communities in the country. It's like it's the least popular, especially when it comes to, like, men. They're like, what? Are you kidding me? And yet it's being pushed by white liberals on a party where they're the most reliable voting demographic, right? And so, look, put simply is that I believe that white liberals running the entire apparatus have taken for granted the average black voter. They think it's just already baked in. And at the very least, it's like you have to compete for the vote, right? I mean, in black communities across the country, you have failing schools, rising crime, and deteriorating households. And the same political decisions keep on being made over and over again. So what is the best for a human being regardless of color? The best for human beings is to be able to own property, get a fair education, have streets that aren't widespread with crime. These issues should not be controversial at all. You know, it shouldn't be controversial to say that we want school choice, we want better schools, all these sorts of things. How are you? What a beautiful kid that is.
Thank you.
What a gift from God.
Yeah. She truly is. She is the biggest blessing. Something that kind of has me like on the fence of whether or not I go kind of like full blown more like conservative or moderate is just seeing how like welfare has like really like destroyed like the family unit. I see that, you know, we're starting to save a lot of money. Do you think that some of that money should go back to maybe like reforming the way that welfare is done to help poorer families who do want to kind of pursue that American dream?
Great question. The number one objective of any social welfare program should be how do we keep the family together and put dads back in the family.
Yes.
That is the number one priority. Every number gets better for every community if dads are around. Every number gets worse when dads are not around. Unfortunately, in the black community, dads are the most absent of any community. About 2/3 of all black youth will be raised without a stable father around. And I know it's crazy, right? To have a father figure is a silent way of forming a child to be a mature citizen. And unfortunately, as we've removed dads from families, government has come in and has taken the place. Unfortunately, with welfare, you can get more money for single mother assistance.
This is very true.
And so right, you agree. We're actually subsidizing single motherhood more than we are subsidizing family formation. Take responsibility, provide for your family, and with strong families comes smaller government and a better country.
I noticed you're wearing an American Lives Matter shirt. What is your message to this audience right now by wearing that t-shirt? What is your intended message?
Well, I think that we should put Americans above foreigners.
You know that the whole point of, you know, the movement, like, that came with Lives Matter was originally for Black Lives Matter?
Yes, I'm intentionally appropriating it. Yeah.
And are you trying to eliminate the movement Black Lives Matter? Are you trying to not bring attention to it?
I mean, well, BLM is not exactly a movement that I would be associated with, but I believe all lives matter. American lives matter. If you're a black American, Hispanic American, I don't care.
Would you take the time to recognize a group of people who have been marginalized historically and who are now asking for the same rights, the same privileges as white people in the society?
What rights do white people have that blacks don't?
So the issue is, it's not necessarily written in the law.
Oh, so it's like hidden.
That's the whole point. That's how marginalizing works.
Oh, so it's kind of like, it's like a ghost. You see it one day and you don't. And
because you as a white privileged person with money have never seen it, doesn't mean it doesn't
exist. What privilege do I as a white person have that a black person doesn't? What can a white person do in America that a black person cannot do? Be specific. Name one thing.
So there are so many issues in our society.
Name one thing. No, I gotta drill you in. Name one thing a white person can do that a black person cannot do.
So the issue is racism, okay? You can technically do it, but your life may be put at risk if you find yourself in certain areas where you might not be accepted by your race, and then your life might be in
So,
danger.
okay, what is racism?
There's
Can you
job
define to me what
opportunities.
racism is?
Racism is the lack of opportunities because of a race, the kind of like putting a person to a side.
So can you name a single example
discriminating
in the
them.
last 20 years where blacks were discriminated en masse, where they've been put aside? Can you give me a specific example?
You can simply talk about police brutality and
Okay, so, wait.
mass incarceration.
What percentage of murders do black Americans commit in America?
There is over-policing in black communities,
Wait, no,
specifically
murders.
lower-income
So
communities.
blacks commit murders because of police? I'm not talking about murders of police.
You're twisting my words.
So why do
and you
blacks
know that.
commit so many murders?
They don't.
So they're 13% of the population, and they do 55% of the murders in America.
So
why?
there, you're not even looking at the background of it. There is over-policing in lower-income communities. And
There's
that,
under-policing in lower-income communities. Number two, you're trying to say that over-policing, even if that existed, which it doesn't, leads to the fact that 13% of the U.S. population accounts for 55% of the murders?
There is a target on people of color's backs, okay? So when a white person sees a person of color...
Prove it.
There is studies, there is research
No,
about
give me
this.
one
There is-
example. Give me one piece of evidence that there's a target on black people's back. In fact, I will submit to you there's the opposite. Black students can get into this college with lower test scores than white students. It's called affirmative action.
So-
Can you name a specific example of what a black person cannot do that a white person can do? And be, again, specific. Anything.
I'm talking about so racism as a whole is not written in the law because that's not allowed anymore, but it still exists.
Then give me an example.
I just told you.
You
There
said
is-
police brutality is your example. Why do you think blacks encounter police so much? They commit more crimes.